But that's bleach. Don't pay attention to it. All right. So we're gonna start with something we're very familiar with. Extract or show the first character on this text right here. So we have this address. We want to show this quotation mark. We want to isolate it. Do you guys remember from the first workshop how we do this? Left, exactly. And the way we do this is by clicking on the cell we're working with. And let me actually get off the Google Sheets because this is going to create inconsistencies. So equal sign, left. Two things we put in this formula. The cell that we're working with that we want to display and how much of it we want to display from the left side, which is one character. That character could be a letter, number, quotation mark, anything. It doesn't matter. We just want it to be one of them, the first one. So we get a quotation mark. So that you guys don't fall behind, I'm going to put the formulas on the side, and these are going to stack up really fast. So try to keep up. Is everybody good with this? Cool. Next up, we're being asked how many characters is this text right here? Again, pretty easy stuff. We want to find the length and character number of this text. How do we do that? LEN. All we need for this is clicking the cell. And it gives us the length in characters that is 18 characters long. Now, this is going to be like the harder parts of the original workshop, which is show the cell. So everything about this, minus the last 4 characters. Now, in the original workshop, I let you guys get away with like using different formulas for this. This way, I want you guys to do it like a very specific way. This time, I mean, I want you to do it a very specific way. And that's going to be with formulas, right? We're going to nest 2 formulas. We want to remove the last 4 characters. So we want to display the text starting from the left side, if that makes sense. We're going to use the left formula because what we want to show in the cell is on the left side of the cell. We're removing from the other side. So we're going to say left, click on the cell, comma. Now for number of characters, how many characters do we show? We could count everything up to the last 4 characters, but not every address is the same number of characters. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. We just want to remove like the last 4 characters, whatever they are. So when we're being asked how many characters to display, we're going to say everything except for the last 4. The way to do that is going to be LEN of this cell, and we're going to close the quotation marks. So the length of cell B13, and outside those quotation marks, we're going to say -4. So this is basically like, if this is 18 characters long, it's going to be like, it's like saying, show the cell from the left side. How many characters are we going to show? 18 minus 4, because this has 18 characters, as we know from here. So it's going to show the first 14 characters. If something under this is 19, it's going to show 19 minus 4, 15. So if we want to just remove the last 4 characters, whatever they are, this is how we do it. Now, this is going to be very important going into the next few formulas. Does this make sense, at least logically? Now, this is not how we want the cells to look. This is just a practical. Now, this is where we go into things that we haven't done in the original workshop. So this is going to be a new problem. We're being asked to remove the first character and the last character. So the first quotation mark and the closing quotation. The way we're going to do this, very similar to like this other problem, we're not removing from either side specifically, we're removing from both sides. So what we display, what we're going to show or keep is going to be in the middle of it. So we're going to use the mid formula to display the part of the text we want. The text part of this formula is very simple. We just click on the cell that we're working with. Now, starting number. We know that we want to remove the first and last quotation mark. Where do we start displaying from? Like which character? Who said that? Exactly. Yeah. Is it loud outside? Yeah. I mean, that's fine, yeah. Let me, yeah, that's fine. So we start displaying from the second character. And I know it sounds like I'm doing this very slowly, but just trust me, when we get to the next one, you're going to see why I'm going so slow for this. We start displaying from the second. How many characters do we display? We want everything except for the first one and the last one. How do we tell Excel that? Well, this is where we're lucky because Excel is like smart enough to understand this. Again, we're gonna say length. So everything from the cell, we click on the cell, close the parenthesis. We want to compute the full length. Minus 2. So it removes 2 characters. The first, if we did minus 1, I think it would just remove this one. If we do minus 2, it's remove this one and this one. And now we remove the quotation marks from the cell. You guys want me to do this again? I don't hear any yeses, but I don't hear any no's. I think I'll do it again just because like you guys are gonna freak out when you see this next one. So if there's even like a small part of it that you're not sure about, let me know because we're gonna need these. So I'm gonna put these on the side, but we're gonna do this again. So the logic is we display the middle of the text because we want to remove the character from the beginning and one from the end. So what we show is the middle part. The mid formula has 3 parts to it, the text we're working with, and you're gonna rely on this a lot. Like the thing that Excel tells you, where it guides you throughout the formula is very important because we're gonna make some really long formulas and it's easy to get lost. So the text we're working with is cell B17. We started displaying from where the second character, and then how many characters do we display? We want to display the entire length of the text, all 18 characters, minus the first and last one. How does Excel know it's the first and last one? Because we did the mid formula. If we had a left formula here, it would remove these 2. If we had a right formula here, it would remove the first 2. But because it's a mid formula and we're removing 2, we remove the first one first and then the last one. That's the order in which it does things. So we're going to say the length of this cell, close it, minus 2. I forgot to put the closing parentheses, but it's fine. Okay. So now we're going to start going into like the actual formulas that we're going to learn for this workshop, the long ones. So doing this on a scale, there's going to be different types of cells on the spreadsheet. Some of them have the quotation marks, some of them don't. So we want to make a formula that scans to see if the first and last character are quotation marks, and if they are, it removes them. And if they're not, it just shows the cell as it is. So to do this, I'm going to ask just like if you have, oh, by the way, guys, if you answered the question up to this point, please raise your hand. If you answered any type of question at all. I heard some voices. Just raise your hand, trust me. I know some of y'all were answering questions. You were. So why are you not raising your hand? You don't have to free cookies, bro? Yeah, so there's a big stuff going on outside, and I would forgot from it. I gave them like $20, so I had $21 questions and participates. So if you were answering questions up until now, just raise your hand and I'll give you a coupon that you can go there after the workshop and spend. Y'all can let me know. You sure? All right. Yeah, I still have like 8,000 calories of cookies in here. I'm not eating all of them myself. I need y'all to like answer questions now. So we're starting this big long formula. What is going to be the first part of it? What do y'all think we're going to start with? Damn. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go random. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask also. So the first part of this is if, right? Now, the very first thing we want to do is look at the first and last characters are quotation mark. So normally the if formula is condition, what we get if it's true, what we get if it's false. But this time, we want to make sure that if you pay attention to this, the first and last character have to be quotation marks, not just the first one. So we have two conditions that both have to be true. So do you guys have any idea what might come next? And if not, that's fine. Close. And this is like workshop 4 stuff from the last one. But basically what and does, it puts two different parameters and it says it makes them like one. So the if formula looks for one condition, right? And it applies it as it goes. When we put and, we can put two different like situations and both of them have to be true for the if formula to execute. So the condition for the if formula is two different conditions that both have to be met. If this was or, only one of them would have to be true. But because we're doing and, this entire and formula is going to serve as our condition for the if function. And it's going to make sense in a second. So the first condition is that the leftmost value of this cell, so we're going to say left B21(1) is equal to quotation marks. Now, I'm going to explain this in a second, but when we want to mention a quotation mark, we're going to use 4 of them. And I know it sounds stupid. Yeah. The base website. So this, now you're good. So to look for one quotation mark, guys, you want to write 4 of them, and I'm going to explain why in a second, but that's just how Excel runs it. Because 2 of them are basically telling Excel that you're looking for text, so whatever is in text. If you just put 1 in between the 2, Excel thinks like you're started. So like there's the one that opens the text, the one that's the actual quotation mark, and then the second one, it recognizes, it ties it to the second one, so it's kind of stupid like that. Basically, if you want to look for one quotation mark, you write 4 of them. That's just one thing you have to remember. Anyways, we put a comma. So that was our logical one. That was our first like logic, our first condition of the 2 in the and form. What's our second condition going to be? Right? Click on the cell. Who answered that? Okay. Sure. Right, B21(1). Again, we're going to set it equal to 4 quotation marks. And it's not going to be a lot of these weird rules that you guys are going to have to remember. This is probably like the only one for the workshop, at least for this one. And then we're going to close it. So this right here is the and formula. This is our condition. This is what we're looking to see to execute the if function. So we're going to check first, is this a quotation mark? Then, is this a quotation mark? If both of those things are true, then we're going to remove them. So now it's time to remove the quotation marks. What formula do we use for this? It is just mid. Yeah. So it's basically what we did up there. So mid, click on the text we're working with. Starting number, what character do we start from? 2, exactly. And then how many characters are we displaying? I hear some mutters, but I don't see who's answering the questions. Maybe I raise your hand so I can give you a cookie. But anyways, I've typed the whole thing up. Length of this cell -2, right? And then comma. Not comma. We close it first. Just the mid formula. We gotta close it and then comma. So we check to see if both of these are, if this text starts and ends with a quotation mark. If it does, we remove them with this mid formula. We're going to show only this part. And then if it doesn't, what do? It's nothing. So we just want to show the cell as it is, right? So we just click on the cell. So if this is not true, just display the cell. This is going to be our result. So now that we have this, And this is the part where some of you might get errors. It's fine. You're doing this for the first time. It removed the quotation marks on this, but this one doesn't have quotation marks. We don't want it to remove anything. It didn't remove anything because it didn't pass that if condition. Now, if you guys want to make sense out of the whole thing with the quotation marks, I'll just show you. So you type equal sign quotation marks. It's empty text because Excel reads whatever is in between the quotation marks, right? So it's empty. There's nothing there. You don't have to follow along with this. If we put 3 quotation marks, this is to let Excel know that it's text. And then these are quotation marks of their own. And for some reason, Excel is kind of stupid like that. It doesn't understand that. It thinks that there's no closing quotation mark. Quotation mark. It thinks that there's no closing quotation mark. This is one of those things where it's just a tech thing, Excel being Excel. If you want, all you need to remember for this is that if you want to quote one quotation mark or look for one specific one, like you put 4 of them. I mean, you can play around with it. I'm not like this doesn't work. So damn, how many do you need? I think that's 2 of them, right? I think that is 2 of them. So if you want to type 2 of them, you would put 5, I guess. Yeah. But for this workshop, we don't need that. Yeah, everything here makes sense logically if you pay attention long enough. The only thing that doesn't is the quotation mark. So that's what I would say. Remember, just you're going to use 4. That's pretty much it. Anyways, now we're going to do something similar. Okay, 2 questions. Go ahead. Yes. Would you guys like for me to walk through it again? Yeah, because I know it's a crazy format. So I'm going to delete this for now. Again, we start with the if formula, and this is a very basic thing. We're like, okay, logically, we look for a condition. If it's true, we give an answer. We would do something with it. If it's not true, we leave it, right? So the condition is going to be 2 things, actually. We have 2 conditions that both have to be true. The first thing has to be a quotation mark, and the last thing has to be a quotation mark. So if and, we click, and then we do a left formula to look for the quotation mark. So B21(1), as in the first character from the left side of B21, is equal to a quotation mark 1, 2, 3, 4, comma. And this is our first condition, and then our second condition is going to be here. All of which are the first part of the if formula again. The rightmost character of this cell is also equal to a quotation mark. We close it. Oh, wait, no. B21, comma 1. I forgot to specify. Is equal to a quotation mark. So all of this is our condition that has to be true. Well, both of these have our condition. Now what we do is we remove the first and last character. Bless you. Again, what formula do we use to do this? Did anybody answer that hasn't got a cookie yet? Okay. Look, I started but mine. I got 5 left. I don't know if it's cookies, by the way. Don't hold me accountable to that. I don't know what they're selling. Yeah, so the value of this is true is we're gonna do a mid formula. And we're gonna what this is gonna do is display the text. Where do we want to start displaying it from? The second character. And how many characters do we want to display from here? All of them except for the first and last one. So we're again going to do length of this cell minus 2. So when we say length of this cell, it's basically going to give us a count, kind of like it did here. So it's going to be 18. Minus 2 is going to be 16. Because again, and I want to reiterate this, because we're doing the mid formula, it removes the first one and then it removes the last one. If that was a different formula, it would remove like the first two or the last two. But because it's a mid, it removes the first one first, the last one second. I think if this was forward, it would remove them like this. But yeah. Comma. So we check to see if they're quotation marks, we remove them if they are, and if they're not, we keep the cell as it is, just display it. So we click on the cell B21, and that's it. And there we go. And I'm gonna put this on the side also, because I know it's a crazy formula. If you guys have questions, raise your hands. Okay. If you guys are able to keep up until now, that is really good. Like, so now we're gonna check to see if the last character is a forward slash. And if it is, we're gonna remove it. If not, we're gonna display the cell as it is. So this is very, very similar, right? So what do we start with? Somebody raise their hand if you want a cookie. Damn. Okay. So if what's our actually let me ask this. Let me put you out on the spot. What is the next condition that we're looking for? What is our condition? Right, exactly. So for the right formula, what do we do? Click the cell, 1. It didn't compute. So click the cell 1 equals a forward slash. That's it. We only have one condition for this. We don't need like an and form. This is our only thing that we're looking for. And make sure it's a forward slash. Don't put a backslash, because that's gonna mess your formula up. Yeah. Yeah. What's the question?
No, this one fits one. It's the right, the one that's the last there.
Exactly. So it's fine. It looks through this, and it is a forward slash, as you can see up there. It doesn't show it, but yeah, it looks at the very last character from the right side, and then it checks if it's a slash. Make sure it's a forward slash again, not a backslash. It would be if it was a 2, it would be looking at both of the last characters. Yeah. So from here, the value of true, we're gonna do. How would we do this? What formula would we use for this? We would remove the last character, right? So how would we do this? Length is gonna be part of it. We're gonna remove the last character. So which side are we gonna show from? The left. So we're gonna say display the left side of this text. How many characters? Well, first of all, which text? Display the left side of which text? This one? How many characters are we displaying? Now it's length of the cell. Again, we gotta like follow Excel's structure. The length of the cell minus 1. And because we're displaying from the left side, when we do minus 1, it's gonna remove it from the right. Comma. And then the value of false, just B26, yeah. So it removed the forward slash from the first one, and the second one, which didn't have a forward slash, it's like fine as it is. So I heard some Windows sounds. Are y'all good? Y'all want me to do this again? Like, yeah. So if we're gonna check to see if the rightmost character, the last one, is a forward slash. Sorry. So if right, click on the cell, and if you guys have questions, like, feel free to raise your hands. B26 1, because we're looking for the one rightmost character, is equal to a forward slash the value, if that's the case, is gonna be remove the last character. So we're gonna say left of B26, how many characters are we gonna display? All of them, so length of B26 minus 1. Otherwise, if it's not that, then we're just going to display the cell as it is. And see, in mine, what's going on? Check. Oh, all right. I'm also going to put this on the side. Now, we're going to combine these formulas now, which is going to be not as scary as it sounds. So would you guys like, okay, we have 40 minutes left. I genuinely think we're going to be fine. Yeah, we'll be at it. So are you guys ready to start combining them? Do you want to take like a second to finish this, or? If it's silence, I'm going to assume you're good. Put the screen up, like zoom it. Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm not. Wait, what?
It's really small.
Scroll down. Which one? What?
Also the age was yeah.
You want to go down?
Yeah.
Oh, because of this, right? I'm sorry. Yeah. Cool. We also have staff in the room. Like if y'all want help, just raise your hands. All right. Now we're gonna do the monster formula. So we're gonna combine everything we've been doing, and I just realized now that I have not done this properly. I gotta remove this, but we're gonna first check to see if it's quotation marks. If they are, we delete them. Then we're gonna check to see if they're not quotation marks. We're gonna check to see if it ends with a forward slash, and if it does, we delete it. Otherwise, we're gonna display the cell as it is. So one formula that counts for every situation. We start with exactly and exactly. Condition one is gonna be left exactly. The one leftmost character of this cell is equal to quotation marks. Again, we're gonna put 4 for Excel to understand it with the stupid S. And then the second one is gonna be that the rightmost character is also a quotation mark. We're gonna specify that it's 1. We don't have to specify this because like if you don't specify 1, Excel just assumes it's 1, but that's our entire condition for the if function. If this is true, then what do we do? Delete it with mid. And I know it sounds confusing because we're saying delete it with mid. Mid doesn't delete anything by itself. It kind of just displays the part of the text we specify. But the part of the text we're going to specify, well, first we're working with this cell right here, so we're going to click it. Starting number, we start from the second character. Number of characters, how many do we display? Exactly. Length of this cell, close it, -2. Right, I forgot to put. We're not done yet. Value of false. So if it's not quotation marks, what do we do next? Who said that? That was go. Okay. Somebody else said that. Now, I still got some. All right. Value if false. So if it's not quotation marks, we're not done. We're gonna do another if function to check if it's a forward slash. So we're gonna say if, and we start over from the beginning. So logical test. What's our next condition for the forward slash? Right of this cell, the rightmost value is equal to a forward slash, comma. If that's the case, what do? Remove it with left. No. We're going to display the left side and we're going to show the entire thing. So length of the cell minus the last one. Yep. I forgot to close it. So yeah. And then the value of this is false. If neither of these two things are true, what do? Exactly. We just keep the cell as we had it. So if it's already clean, we don't do anything with it. So we just click on the cell again. As long as you understand this logically, you can always go back and fix it. In my case, I just forgot the second closing quotation mark. Excel kind of fixed that on its own. But yeah, now all three of these cells are clean. Now, if all three of these cells are clean, and these are the only three situations we have, that means that this entire table can be cleaned with one formula. So I'm so sorry, we're gonna do this one more time. Are you guys ready to move though? Or do you want like a few minutes? I'm gonna redo it, but I'm also gonna redo it here. So do you want me to redo it here first or like, let me see. Probably fine. Yeah, I can redo it. You want to do the whole thing? Okay. So if first we check to see if it has quotation mark. So the quotation marks have to be in the beginning and the end. So we're gonna say and. It's two things that have to be true at the same time. And then the way to check that is gonna be and. We have two parts to it, the left and the right. So we're gonna say left. We click on the cell because this is just how the formula is formatted. So the leftmost value of this cell is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 quotation marks. And then the second condition that also has to be true is that the rightmost value is also a quotation mark. So the one rightmost value. It doesn't matter which one you start with, because like there are two conditions that both have to be true. So which one you put first, it doesn't matter. And then if this is true, we remove them with the mid formula. So we're going to display the middle of this cell where it says text. We just click on the cell. The starting number, we start from the second character. And then how many characters do we display? All of them except the first and last. So length of this cell -2. And then if this is not true, instead of just wrapping it up and giving it like a conclusion, we have like another situation to look out for. So we're going to say another if formula. So we're going to do another logical test. This one being that the last character is a /if. I think I'm tripping. Okay, so this one is going to start with the right formula. The one rightmost character of the cell is equal to a /. That is the case, we want to remove the last character, whatever, like however long this is, we want to remove the last character. So we're going to say left. We're going to display the left side of this cell. How many characters? All of them. The entire length of this cell -1. Okay. And then if neither of these two things are true, we're back to the value of false part of the if formula. And then we're gonna just keep the cell the way it is. I think I need two closing ones. Yeah, I did. And that's what we get. If you didn't get this, we're gonna do this one more time for the next formula, so you'll be fine. This is where you really need it to work. So this is the one where we're gonna like really lock in. So you guys ready to start cleaning the table? Okay. We're gonna take these headers first before we do anything with it. And we're gonna paste them a little bit to the right side. And now we're gonna start cleaning. So equal sign. We're gonna say what was our formula looking like? So if again, we're gonna go over the same thing. And now we're looking for we're looking at the leftmost value if it's a quotation mark. So we're gonna say, all right, left of this cell, the one leftmost value is equal to a quotation mark. For this, we do 4 again. I think the hardest part of this workshop is probably remembering that it has to be 4 if we do 1. The second condition that also has to be true is that the rightmost value, the one rightmost value of this cell is equal to a quotation mark. If that's the case, we remove them. So we're going to say mid. The text we're working with is cell A2. We start from which number? The second one. And then how many characters do we display? In plain English, I don't need the formula. This all of them except for the first and last one. So length of the cell -2. So if that isn't the case, if it's not quotation marks, then it could also be a forward slash. So we're going to say if the rightmost value of this cell is equal to a forward slash, we're going to remove it by doing a left formula and displaying everything to the left side of the cell except for the last character. So the text we're working with is A2, and how much we're displaying is the length of A2 -1. Wait, I put it inside the quotation marks. I shouldn't, the parentheses, I mean, I shouldn't have done that. So, and the length -1 stuff is literally just math. Excel can do math also. That's how it understands that. I might be, yeah, I think it's, yeah. And if neither of those is the case, we're just going to keep A2 where it is. This should be right, fingers crossed. If it's not, we're going to go back and fix it. It is right. So try to run it. If it didn't run, please raise your hand because you need this for the rest of the workshop. And there's no shame if it didn't work. Like this is a crazy formula. The fact that you guys are doing this is like, when I first looked at this, I was like, what the hell is this? You know? Yeah. Yeah. So mid shows you the middle part of the text, like kind of like how the left formula shows you text from the left side, the right formula shows you text from the right side. Mid shows you like from the middle. Mid formula has three parts, so I'm gonna try to find it. So it has the text, which is like what cell you're looking at. the starting number, which is like, what character do you start from? So it doesn't look at the numbers in the cell, it looks at the actual characters. So because we're removing the first and last one, we want to start showing from the second one, because we don't want to see the first one. So we start displaying from the second character. The length of A2 minus 2 is like, the next part is like, if we want to see from the second character, how many characters do we want to show, like starting from here? It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 5. We want to show everything except for the first and last character. So it's going to be the length, so everything in that cell, minus 2. And because we're using min, it understands to remove the first one and the last one. If that was a left function, like it would remove the last 2. If it was a right function, it would remove the first 2 when we do length minus 2. Because it's mid, it removes the first one first and the last one next. Yeah.
Like 18.
Because some of these addresses are like longer than the others. So like 123 Maple Street is like 18 characters. This one could be like 20. And we want to drag it down so that it counts for everything. So we want to say however long the cell is, except for whatever the first and last ones are. What do you mean?
Instead of doing like months.
Yeah, you could. This could be a lot simpler if you didn't have to do it for like so many stuff. Like you could just say like substitute the quotation marks with nothing. Like that also works. It's just like in this case, we want to like just display everything. We want to make it flexible enough to like where like it counts for everything in this table. And this is a huge table with different types of values. So are we good with this? Does anybody not have it? Okay. So now we can drag this. So we can click on the bottom right, go sideways first. And once we're sideways, we're going to double click again, bottom right. No, it doesn't work, whatever. So we're going to just like take the bottom right and just manually drag it down. That's fine. And if you guys are worried about the exam, I don't think I'm going to put this entire like behemoth on the exam. I'm going to put maybe like, I'm not promising anything yet because I'm not finished making the exam, but it's not going to be this entire thing. It's going to be like regular questions, but I think the longest one would be something like this with a forward slash. I think that's fair. It's like you got to understand the logic, but also it's not going to be like, that would be crazy. If I put and also if I put a long formula, it's not going to be your entire grade up. There might be one exercise that gets long, but not like this. It might be like half of this. So does everybody have the entire table cleaned? Now, if you look at it, there's still something wrong. This is just like, this is not something you did wrong. It's just like, except like real life simulation where something will go wrong with this problem. The dates look kind of crazy. So if you look at the date here, it's formatted as custom. While if you look at the date here, it's general. And when we drag it from a custom cell to a general one, it kind of bugs out and does that. Very easy way to fix this, and I want you guys to lock in for this part. Because there might, a question like this, it might not be with a formula this long on the test, but it might be on the test to have like what we're going to do next. So let's say the date looks kind of crazy. How do we fix it? Do you guys remember how we formatted dates on the original workshop? It was one formula. Yes. So we go to the beginning of this formula, like right after the equal sign. And this is going to be such a simple fix, but like, it's very easy to mess it up. So we're going to say text, open the parentheses. So text, open up the parentheses. This entire formula that we put here, we're just going to put that inside as like the source for our text form. So all that we just did, that's going to be our source of information for our text formula. Put a comma at the end. And then text says, okay, what cell are you working with, which is whatever that is. And then how do you want to format it? We want to format it, let's say, month, day, year, hour, minute. So we're going to say slash dd slash yy slash, not slash, just space HH:MM. Just like something that looks clean, you know? And it doesn't have to match mine exactly, as long as it looks like a regular date. Hour and month. Sorry, hour and minute. Hour and minute. So is that straightforward enough? Is it confusing? Like you just open the text formula, you don't touch the actual one, just put a comma at the end. That's going to be your source. And then you put the way you want to format it at the end. And then we can close the text formula also. We run it. Now the date looks a little bit more normal. Try to double click it. Okay, it fills. Cool. Is everybody good with this? Oh my God, describe this function. Let me see what's going on. Upstairs looks good. Do the people upstairs need me to run this back one more time? Like, yeah, I think the people upstairs are fine. Gives you an error. Okay. I don't even know. Oh, don't worry about it. Okay. It's probably like a one. It's not usually. This might be wrong, but usually this happens like in programs like SAP. If something is red, it's probably an error. Like you're cooked. If it's yellow, a lot of the time it's just a warning message. I'm not sure what that means, but if it's not stopping you from working, then I think you're fine. But now we have this clean table, but there's also still something that needs to be finished. Because look, if we like delete anything from this table, it also disappears on the other one. Because the table that we cleaned relies on this one for its data. Like it's tied to the dirty one. And you know, if we're at our job, we don't want to have this to show like our manager and stuff. We want something nice. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna just finalize it, put the final touches. One more thing for you guys to learn today. We're gonna select this entire table. I think y'all remember Control or Command Shift down. We're gonna copy it. And we're not gonna paste it because if we paste it, like let's say here and you check, like it still takes the formulas with it. Excel takes the formulas with it when you paste things, which is good. It's very useful, but sometimes it's not what you want to do. So we're gonna copy it, and where it says paste options, we're gonna look for values. For me, it's here. For Mac, it might be like right next to it, but you can also go to paste special, and there should be an option that says values. And what this does, it basically reads whatever the cell shows, and it makes that what's in the cell. Like there's no more formulas in there now. Just the numbers that were on it are the actual data on the cell. So now this table is independent of the other one. And we also want to get rid of the old one, so we just select all these columns. We can click delete and do it like that. Or we can just select the entirety of this table, hit delete on our keyboard, not our backspace, just delete on the keyboard. And then we could like cut and paste this. Either way you do it, it doesn't matter. Probably something like this is going to be on the exam, but like on a smaller scale and obviously with like shorter formulas. If I'm going to make you guys do a monster formula on the exam, like a crazy one, it's going to look a lot more like probably this one with a forward slash, where it's one condition, not two. And not like an if within an if within an if. As far as long formulas. As far as like knowing the process of how to clean data, that is very important for you guys to know. And also like fixing text that looks kind of crazy when there's already a formula there. Also something I expect you guys to know for the exam. Yeah. Now, does anybody have any questions? Yeah. I used wait. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, I have the phone. So usually I click whatever the first one is. So the first one says value, so just whatever the words on it are. Uh, Values and number formatting is like the way that it takes the values and also the way that the numbers look. So maybe to avoid something like what we had, you would do that. What's the last one? Values and source formatting. I honestly have not. I think it takes whatever the format was here, it pastes the values in the format of that. But that's just like fancy stuff if you want to get like, if you have like specific things you need to do. Most of the time, it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be whatever the first thing on paste values is. So paste special values, where it says just values, that's the one you need. Do you guys want to get like a little sneak peek into a future workshop?